it's Hannah from the Louisville Public Library. I'm going to go ahead and read you some stories today, so I'm going to go ahead and take my mask off. Hi everyone, so today I'm going to read you some Disney books. The first one is called Bambi. How many of you have seen the movie Bambi? In the hushed early hours of a spring morning, the wonderful news spread quickly through the forest. All of the animals crept to the thickest to visit the doe and her newborn fawn. "It isn't every day a prince is born," Al explained. Soon the baby fawn opened his eyes and tried to stand. Balancing on 4 feet was harder than he thought. "You are wobbly, aren't you?" remarked Thumper. The doe named her son Bambi. Every day she took him for walks in the woods. The forest creatures were always delighted to see him. "Good morning, young prince." Bambi wished he could leap and scamper like the other animals, but his long, wobbly legs always seemed to trip him up. "Come on, Bambi," yelled Thumper. "Try again." Every day he played and ran. Bambi could feel his legs grow stronger and more steady. Bambi soon learned that everything in the forest had its own name. "Bird? No, that's a butterfly." "Pretty flower?" "No, no, no," cried Thumper. "That's not a flower. He's a little—" "I don't mind if he calls me a flower," interrupted the skunk with a shy laugh. He thought a skunk was a flower. Best of all was the wide open meadow, but Bambi's mother always checked carefully before she allowed her son to leave the woods. "You must never rush out into the meadow. Out there we cannot hide from danger." "My name is Feline," a little fawn said shyly. "I'm Bambi," he replied. Although they felt bashful at first, Bambi and Feline were soon playing games, chasing each other through the long grass. Bambi and Feline stopped their games to watch a herd of stags bounding across the fields. Bambi wished that he too could run as swiftly and gracefully as the full-grown stags. He even caught a glimpse of his father, the great prince of the forest, standing at the edge of the clearing. "He's very brave and very wise," Bambi's mother said. "Everyone respects him." Summer turned to fall, and soon the forest was hidden in a thick coat of winter snow. Bambi couldn't stop blinking at the bright white world that glittered all around him. Plop! Snow fell from the trees right onto Bambi's head. He's pretty cute with that snow on his head, though. "Look!" cried Thumper. "The water's stiff!" But skating looked much easier than when Thumper did it. "Come on, get up," encouraged Thumper. "Like this." Bambi seemed better at spinning than skating. The two friends skated and slid over to a snowbank, where they peered into an opening of a small den. Flower was inside, all snuggled up and asleep. "Wake me when it's spring," murmured Flower. Winter's icy winds sent a chill through Bambi's thin coat. There was a little to eat, so the deer had to find nourishment in the bark of trees. One day as they grazed, Bambi's mother heard the sound of danger approach. "Run, Bambi! Run to the thicket!" Bambi ran. Behind him a loud noise blasted. Bam! He ran faster, not looking back until he reached his home. His mother never returned. When spring arrived, the forest was reborn in a world of color and birdsong. Even Sleepy Owl had to rub his eyes, unruffle his feathers, and step out into the new warm day. "Hello, old friend," the young stag proudly announced himself. "Don't you remember me?" "Why, it's the young prince," blinked Owl. "I see you've turned your spots for a pair of antlers." It's getting older. "Watch out for what happens in springtime," Owl warned. "You might get twitter-patted. The first pretty face you see, and you'll be knocked for a loop." "Not us," said Bambi, Flower, and Thumper. When a female skunk caught Flower's eye, quick as a wink, he followed her. Thumper saw a little female rabbit. Thump, thump, thump went his foot. Twitter-patted, thought Bambi with a sigh. Hello, Bambi, spoke a sweet, gentle voice. Bambi turned. It was Feline. Together they walked through the forest, entranced by each other's company. Guess I must be Twitter-patted, thought Bambi with a happy sigh. Everyone found their love. Bambi and Feline enjoyed the tranquil spring and summer that followed, but as the weather turned cooler, the scent of danger again was in the air. Man had returned to the forest. Bambi and Feline tried to flee, but the hunters were prepared. Bam! A shot crackled through the air and Bambi slumped to the ground. Get up! Suddenly, Bambi's father stood before his injured son. The hunters' campfire was caught and spread through the forest. We must leave now. That's not a good sign. Burning trees smoked and crackled as a giant tree crashed toward them. Bambi and his father leaped over the rushing waterfall. Soon all that was left of the forest were charred trees and scorched earth. But by the next spring, the forest bustled and bristled with new life. Wake up, friend Owl, cried Thumper, pleased to show off his children. In the thicket, Feline rested. The animals all gathered around her, anxious to see the two new young fawns. Prince Bambi ought to be mighty proud, nodded Owl. Feline smiled and looked up at the tall cliff in the distance where Bambi, Prince of the Forest, stood. He raised his antlers proudly. And that's the end. Alrighty, so in between our stories, we're gonna pretend like we're kind of in the stories. And they run away from things, they try to hide from things. So I want you all to stand up and we're gonna run away from something. So have someone chase you or do something like that. Alright, you guys ready? Let's go. Run. Run away, guys. Run fast, run fast. We gotta escape them. Run faster. Run fast. Oh, you guys safe? Oh, that's good. Alright, so our second book is 101 Dalmatians. Love this book. I love dogs too, so that helps. My story begins in London, where I lived with my pet Roger Rodcliffe. Roger was a songwriter, and we lived in a bachelor flat near Regent's Park. My name is Pongo. I'm the one with the spots looking out the window. As far as I could see, a bachelor's life was downright dull. So when I saw the perfect dog walk by with a lovely woman, it was a dream come true. I grabbed my leash and barked loudly. Ruff! Roger understood and took me out. As I pulled Roger along, he asked me, Pongo, old boy, what's the hurry? Then I spotted the lovely Dalmatian and her pet. I slowed down as we walked by, hoping we'd catch their eye. But when I looked back, they were starting to leave. Thinking fast, I wrapped up Roger and the lovely lady in my leash. Oh, oh dear, they cried, losing their balance and falling right into the pond. After a moment, they couldn't help but laugh. My plan worked. Not long after that, Anita and Roger were married, and I took Perda to be my bride. His plan really did work. For the first 6 months, we lived in a small house near the park. It was perfect for two couples just starting out. We even had a wonderful housekeeper named Nanny. I thought that we couldn't be any happier, but Perdita had the best news yet. Oh, Pongo, we're going to have puppies. Who doesn't love good puppies? One day, an old classmate of Anita's, Cruella DeVille, stopped by. Darling, where are the little brutes, puppies? They won't be here for at least 3 weeks, replied Anita. Let me know when the Dalmatians arrive. Don't forget. On a stormy night 3 weeks later, Nanny cheered. The puppies are here. All 15 of them. Then thunder cracked and Cruella swooped into the room. I'm here for the puppies. I'll buy them all. Cruella sneered. She started to write a check. We're not selling the puppies, and that's final. Krilla stormed out. "Purdy, don't worry, we're keeping the puppies," I whispered. "Every last one of them." Perdita sighed happily and went to sleep. 15 puppies, though, that's a lot of pups. Weeks passed, and our 15 little ones certainly kept us busy. One of the things the puppies liked best was watching the adventures of Thunderbolt, the dog, on television. Bedtime, children. Nanny tucked the puppies in as we left for our nightly walk in the park with Roger and Anita. Just as Nanny had lulled the little ones off to sleep, the doorbell rang. 2 men, Jasper and Horace, were at the door. "We're here to inspect the wiring," said Jasper. Then the 2 pushed their way into the house. This can't be good. "You're not coming in here. I'll call the police." But before she could do anything, they locked her in the room. When Nanny finally escaped, she made a terrible discovery. The puppy basket was empty. They took the puppies. I knew that Corilla must have chuckled when she read the morning's newspaper headline, 15 puppies stolen. Thieves flee. Her plan had worked. That evening in the park, I said to Perdita, "It's up to us to find the puppies." We decided to use the twilight bark and all dog alert. I barked as loudly as I could. The news traveled quickly out to the country, where a bloodhound named Trouser heard the shocking story. "Ruff, ruff," he barked, trying to reach the colonel, an English sheepdog that lived nearby. Trouser's message reached the colonel and his friend. Then Sergeant Tibbs the cat, "I heard the puppies barking at the old DeVille place 2 nights ago." The friends decided to investigate the mansion. Sergeant Tibbs sneaked through a hole in the wall and found a room overflowing with Dalmatian puppies. The 15 missing puppies were there, but they weren't alone. Jasper and Horace had brought a total of 99 puppies to the house. Ooh, now that's a lot of puppies. Sergeant Tibbs hid when he heard Corilla arrive. "I don't care how you kill the spotted beasties. I want my coats tonight." Then she stormed out to her car and sped away. Sergeant Tibbs couldn't believe his ears. Corilla wanted the puppies for fur coats. Immediately, Sergeant Tibbs ran inside to round up the puppies. "You'd better get out of here," he whispered. Then he helped them escape through a hole in the wall. Suddenly, Horace and Jasper noticed that the puppies were missing. "Follow me," cried Sergeant Tibbs, hiding the puppies beneath the staircase. Horace and Jasper ran after them, calling, "Here, puppies! Here, puppies!" Meanwhile, Perdita and I sneaked out of the house. Thanks to the dogs in London, we heard what had happened and began our journey to the DeVille mansion. When we arrived at last, we found the colonel standing in front of the gate. "Follow me," he said, heading to the house. "I'm afraid there's trouble. Big hullabaloo." Uh-oh. Through the window, we saw that Horace and Jasper had cornered the puppies. Perdita and I broke through the glass with a crash and surprised the evil men. Those dog nappers were no match for us. We gathered the puppies and escaped from the mansion to a nearby barn, but we didn't realize that Jasper and Horace were hot on our trail. In the barn, we counted up all the puppies. There were 99. "We'll take them all home with us, every last one." Suddenly, we heard a truck screech outside. It was Horace and Jasper. "You'd better get away," said the colonel. "I'll stay behind to fence them off." "Come on, kids, hurry!" The thieves escaped from the colonel and Sergeant Tibbs and followed our tracks in the snow. Sliding across an icy creek, we hid beneath the bridge. Finally, they drove off. Our long journey continued. Just when we thought we couldn't take another step, we ran into a helpful calling. "We have shelter for you at a dairy farm." And these animals are really helpful right now. At the barn, 4 cows offered our grateful puppies warm milk, and the collie was kind enough to bring Purdy and me scraps to eat. Worn out, we slept soundly through the night. In the morning, we rounded up our puppies and headed for Dinsford, where a Labrador was waiting to help us. As we ducked beneath the fence and crossed the road, I heard a car honking in the distance. "Hurry, kids, hurry," I said. Corilla's car came roaring up the road. She screeched to a halt near our tracks in the snow. Jasper and Horace pulled up next to her. "Their tracks are heading for the village. I'll take the main road, you take the side roads." At Dinsford, the black Labrador announced that he had found us a ride to London. While we waited in a blacksmith's shop, I came up with a disguise to fool Corella. "Come on, kids, roll in the ashes." Soon we all looked like black Labradors. That's a pretty smart disguise. When our ride was ready, we began leading the disguised puppies out to the truck. Corella and her henchmen didn't even glance. But as we were helping the little ones onto the truck, some melted snow fell onto the pups. The spots were revealed. Corella yelled, "There they go!" Our truck sped off and Corella raced after us, smashing into us every turn. She was trying to force us off the cliff. Then Horace and Jasper's truck came speeding toward us from the other direction. Our driver quickly swerved out of the way, and Corilla's car crashed into Horace and Jasper. The 3 villains tumbled down the cliff into a snowbank. At long last, we made it back to London. Roger and Anita hugged and cleaned us as we walked through the door. We were all so happy to be together. As Nanny cleaned off all the puppies, she giggled. "Oh, they're all here, the little dears." That was when she noticed there were many, many more. Look, there are a whole lot more puppies. Yes, indeed there were. And that's the end. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the stories today, and I hope you all stay safe and healthy, and go ahead and mask up.